It's never really about the money. It's always a test. I meet millions of people across the globe. And it's always in back rooms, like this one. And they always have the same looks on their faces, like you do now. You would think that I'm used to it. By now, I've been doing this for 10 years. Ever since I saw The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. I think it was 10 years ago. Changed my life. It was that iconic scene when he is ready to go to battle with the samurai, and he comes out of the house, walks down the stairs, and he has the full regalia of a samurai. In fact, it's of the samurai that he killed. Spoiler alert, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot in that movie. It changed my life. It's why I'm here. It's why I make millions and speak to millions, because I'm all about honor. So he's there, and I don't care what you think about Tom Cruise in that movie. He is fantastic. I don't care that he's a Scientologist. He taught me how to take control of my life. He's walking down the steps, the wooden steps. This is a samurai village in the hinterlands of Japan. It's paradise. It's Japanese trees and cherry blossoms and creeks and chickens and cows and dogs and Japanese peasants and the samurai warrior class with their amazing Japanese women, and he's walking down the steps. He's going to battle, and he's wearing the gear of the samurai that he actually killed. The samurai that he killed left behind a wife who took care of Tom Cruise when Tom Cruise was brought back to the village as a prisoner of war after he killed that samurai who was the husband of the woman who took care of him as he was resuscitated back to health. And that's why I'm here before you today. It's never about the money, it's about the honor. I'm a descendant of Nathan Algren. That's Tom Cruise's character in the movie The Last Samurai. And what I'd like to say to you guys is that, just like you, I lived in the back room of my life, so to speak. There was the mega corporation, much like Kroger, as we are here today at Kroger. And I was despondent like you because I had no sense of honor. And now we find ourselves in a rather large cultural predicament. It's a global predicament. It's a lockdown. It's what is euphemistically described as a shelter in place, and we're all a little despondent about that. We don't know what we're doing with our lives now. So, of course, we're maintaining social distancing. Each of you sitting at least 6 feet apart, which is kind of rather remarkable, considering there's 10 or so of you in here. And there's that feeling that I get all the time in little gatherings like this across the world in the back rooms of these great corporations like Kroger. You don't know what you're doing with your life, and now that there's this global lockdown, you're even more obsessed with the grand plan. Not just for you, but for humans, for the planet, the grand plan of the planet. Well, what I would like to tell you is, when I came here today in my samurai gear, I wanted to cut through all the veils of illusion, the armament of delusion, that keeps you straitjacketed in this despair, where honor is simply a wisp of the imagination. You don't hop out of bed in the morning burning on fire for honor, but if you would have seen The Last Samurai, as I did 10 years ago, you would have seen the very thing that could change your life. It's called the Code of the Bushido, the warrior's code of the samurai. And samurai, in ancient Japanese, means to serve. See, you guys are just here for a paycheck. I get it. You got your pay stubs, you pay your taxes, and now you're all a little bit insecure about how long this lockdown is going to last and what's going to happen to the human race, and I am too, and that's why I'm just redoubling my efforts, and I'm walking into every Kroger back room I can with my samurai gear on, and I'm going to teach you what you need to know about honor. Because if Nathan Algren can change from a disaffected, bitter, rancorous, vengeful, spiteful veteran of the Civil War into the last samurai who brings honor to an entire country, you can do it too. Just when you're scanning those cans of soup and you're opening up the egg cartons and you're twisting each of the eggs and you look and you're like, oh shit, this is an 18 egg carton. It's not the dozen carton that you wanted it to be. It's the 18 egg carton. And you're like, do I have to twist all of these for this woman and she's got her fucking face mask on and she's wearing gloves? And it's harder to do that when you're wearing the gloves. When you're wearing the mask because it's so hot and you're concerned that your immunity is decreasing because you're actually not outside. You're not actually exercising, you're not talking to people, you're not doing all the natural things that keep human beings healthy. Instead, you're quarantining yourself and restricting your natural expressiveness and your natural activity. Just so this woman who's buying 18 eggs doesn't have to feel terrified of you. So I get that, and I get it. I get it. I would rather just have chickens to lay my own eggs. My chickens, my eggs. No facial gear, no gloves. But that's not the way it is. Instead, I rely upon your charitable donations when I'm finished talking here and motivating you. I do get paid a handsome sum for this, but I also take donations. And I realize that you're a little strapped for cash. We all are, so. What I want to say to you is that when you're at the checkout line, whether it's the self-checkout line and you're simply supervising whether people are not stealing, you got your eyes on the potential kleptomaniacs, or you're there and you're checking IDs for alcohol purchases for people who are 55 and clearly over 21. Whatever absurdity assails you in any given moment, there is one thing that will catapult you into something sublime, and then will resituate you just as we are resituated here. When I talked about Nathan Algren descending those steps in his samurai gear, I transfigured this room because all of you, 6 feet apart, wallowing in your despair, you deserve the armament of a samurai, and you get that when you listen to me and I instruct you on how to achieve honor in your job. So you jettison, what's that called? The eject seat in Batman's car. You eject out of the moment. You go into the ether of your higher self. You espy honor. It's like this great planet in the firmament. And there it is, wandering across the night sky, honor. And you take that planet and you put it right here in the center of your chest, right there inside the casement of your samurai self. The armament of your soul. Your back. You never want to just transcend and just stay out there, clinging onto a star and rejecting all of us down here. We need you. The king. We need a king. Each of us, a king, needs a king or a queen. Now, honor is what transmutates that moment when you're kind of fingering through the 18 eggs looking for cracks because you don't want that pissy old woman to get pissy with you. Am I making sense? Honor transmutes the moment. And then it's gonna get really dangerous, to be honest with you, if you can truly burrow into that moment and feel the honor as the heart and the sacred encasement of your samurai self. You're going to feel that honor, and it's going to start catalytically reorienting you and transmogrifying the energetics of your viscera. You're going to be like, what am I doing with my life? And that's not to be an elitist snob, because even though you may think that you've got it bad now, being a checkout clerk at Kroger, you may think that's a lowly, unworthy occupation. It's not, especially at this time. Everybody's coming to you, and you've got a certain power and clout and authority and supervision. I mean, basically, these people need food to live, and you're the gatekeeper. So it's not like being a checkout clerk is ignoble. Now, when the lockdown ends and everybody supposedly gets their job back and things go back to normal, you may start to feel like you're lower down in the hierarchy of significance in society. I get it, but that's why I'm here. That's why I go across the planet and give these motivational speeches in back rooms at supermarkets such as Kroger. What I'm trying to say to you is that honor is what transforms you. You have to actually infuse every moment with honor. One of the most inspiring stories that I've heard was quite some time ago. I read a book, and in this book that was talking about a high-ranking lama in Tibetan Buddhism, and he was on the roadside in India after being exiled from Tibet. And, he had been perhaps the abbot of a monastery, and now he was, again, like a lowly checkout clerk. He was really just on the side of the road shoveling rocks and dirt. But what he said is that he was building a Buddha palace in a Buddha verse, and every single time he shoveled those rocks and moved those stones and that dirt, he was building a Buddha palace. So when you're there in the checkout line and that woman is just grimacing, but you can't even fully see and appreciate that grimace because it's behind a mask, and she's suffocating, and she thinks that she's actually being healthy when she's in fact deteriorating her own immunity by doing the most unnatural thing. Because for millions of years we didn't do that. We didn't quarantine the healthy. We quarantined the sick. When we go back to normal, if we go back to normal, there was never a normal. The honor. It is a dynamite stick. Right here. The honor. It means that you will not be dishonored. You will not be dishonored. You will not dishonor another. And then when honor becomes the supreme perspective. You can start to see what's happened. Yeah. You've been dishonored. You've been dishonored from the day you were born. That's why you're depressed. It's why you tolerate this fluorescent lighting that is just grotesque. I can feel the cancer coming down on my skin already. I'm gonna have to take a bath after I leave this back room, you know. You've been dishonored. And you can feel it when you put those masks on. When you're terrified, you gotta touch everything with gloves because every surface on the planet's going to kill you. See, you think it's really bad now. I get that. It is really bad now. And lots of conscious spiritual people want to say, well, what has this coronavirus COVID-19 done for you? How has it worked for you? How are you grateful? But let me tell you something. Whatever lemonade you get out of these lemons, it's on you. That's you. You're not thanking a virus, quote unquote. Don't thank a virus. Thank yourself for understanding honor. Thank yourself for understanding dishonor and the boundary that was so repeatedly violated from the moment you were born until the moment you showed up here today to listen to The Last Samurai. The code of the Bushido. The warrior's code. The warrior will never be dishonored. The warrior will take his or her own life for the sake of honor. Now, you didn't know that when you filled out the job application at Kroger. I get that. And after I leave today, you're still going to sink your head down in your hands. And you're going to weep, and you're going to stare out the window at home with your tea, and you're going to wonder what to do with your life. And you're going to say, that last samurai guy that came in today, he was really on to something, but whatever he was on, that's not for me. And then you're going to do something really ridiculous. You're going to get so afraid, and that reptilian brainstem is going to turn right back on. But you're going to stare out the window with a mask on. You're going to pick up the teacup with gloves on. Nobody has touched that teacup except for you. But you're so terrified of your own hands that you're wearing gloves to pick up a cup that no one else has touched, and you're so terrified of the tea that you're going to drink it through the mask itself. And because you've contaminated the mask, you're going to have to get another mask and put it on to take the second sip. And when you've done this 10 times, you're going to feel like pulling out a sword and doing what they do. The samurai, the harikari, the noble death. And what I'm going to tell you is that you don't have to do anything like that. You don't have to be driven to that kind of despair. You don't have to be crushed by all the news that's subjugating your psycho-spiritual immune system. All you have to do is find the honor right here in your heart. Jet up as high as you can go. Feel the radiant, luminous expanse of the heavens. And then come right back.